Yo guys, what is good? It's Cameron from Deck Builders here, and today we'll bring you my personal DD deck. Now I made this up, obviously I got inspiration, I modified other people's decks or whatever, and I ended up with this deck. But I can safely say that this is my original deck. I did not copy this from anyone else. And I play with DD so much. This is probably my most played deck for like the past 1 to 2 years online. I pretty much strictly use this deck for like a year. I play like once a week or whatever. Like obviously once a week I mean like I'll sit down for an hour and play for like once a week for literally a year and just modify this deck slowly and slowly. I like Declan. I watched like 10 episodes of the show and I was like, this DD deck is OP, I'm gonna figure it out. And like it's actually a good deck in real life, especially when the next Master Rules come out, the March 2020 Master Rules. We're gonna be able to fusion summon 100 times. This deck is going to be OP and it is made for that Master Rule. Obviously it's good now. We're also getting the Link 2 monster, which this deck isn't quite set up for, but I used to play with it as an OCG card in Dueling Nexus, and it used to work really good on this deck. I'll just kind of add it in to the extra deck now that we know that we're going to get this card when Dueling Overload comes out, which is going to be really exciting for us. Even though it would have been way nice to have it sooner, we actually needed Link monsters to fusion summon multiple times in one turn. But it's better to have the Link monster later than never. It's still a really insanely good card. But like I know there's DD decks that can put up bigger boards that like have 10 negates or whatever, and they're crazy decks, but this deck is the most consistent. Trust me, this deck, okay, that guy that has the crazy deck, he's playing a lot more like less important cards that are gonna add up and stack up, and you're gonna be able to get like 50,000 cards on the board. They're not be able to get that combo off maybe twice every 10 duels. My deck, this deck will get you a good board every single game, and this deck has got me to Master League on Dueling Nexus multiple times, multiple seasons. But before we get into the deck profile, please hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into the deck list.
Okay, so first up we got DDD Destiny King 0 Lapras. Now this is your best attack card, as this attack, the attack of this monster becomes double the monster that it's battling. So let's say you're battling a card with 2000 attack, this card now has 4000. So next up we're running 3 copies of DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Now this card's effect is when it's special summoned or normal summoned, you can special summon 1 card from the graveyard that's a DDD monster. So there's a lot of possible combinations that you can do with this to just get as many DDD monsters out as possible. You can also tribute one of your DD monsters on the field and destroy 1 card that your opponent controls. It has 3000 defense, so that effect can be really useful if you just keep it in defense and destroy one of your opponent's cards once per turn. Next we're running 3 copies of DDD Doom King Armageddon. Now this is just a good 3000 attack beater, but it's also a level 8, so you can use that and Ragnarok to XC summon for your level 8. Now you got the heart of your deck, you're running 3 copies of DD Swell Slime. Now this card is literally, you draw this and you know you've got a good board. What you can do with this card is you can fusion summon from your hands using Swell Slime as well as another DD card, and then when it's in your graveyard you can banish it from your graveyard and special summon 1 DD monster from your hand. Now you've got 3 copies of DD Necro Slime, which is going to allow you to fusion summon from your graveyard using Necro Slime and another DD card. Now you've got 3 copies of DD Savin Kepler. Now this is a level 10 scale that you can use, even though it does go down by 2 every turn, but you can also normal summon it. I mainly use it as a normal summon, and you can add 1 Dark Contract from your deck to your hand. So if you add 1 Dark Contract, you can get Dark Contract with the Swamp, which means you're able to get any other card you want. If you need a slime to fusion summon or something like that, then you can get that. So with this card, it's pretty much any card you want in the deck if you normal summon it, and then you get your Dark Contracts, and then you can get any card you want from your deck. Next we got 2 copies of DD Ghost. Now DD Ghost is an interesting card because when it's sent to the graveyard, you're able to target 1 card in your graveyard and then send another version from your deck to the graveyard. Now this could be useful if you're trying to fusion summon with slime and you want maybe another Necro Slime so that you can fusion summon the next turn as well, or you can send another DD card and then you can fusion summon with Necro and then special summon the other DD monster that you sent to the graveyard back with the fusion card. Now we're running 2 copies of DD Lamia. Now this is an easy card to special summon, but it's also a tuner as well as DD Ghost. They're your 2 tuner monsters in the deck, which you don't really use too often as a tuner, but this card is just really easy to special summon, especially if you're trying to activate an effect, or if you want to get rid of it with Ragnarok, then it's an easy tribute that you can special summon back. I'm running 2 copies of DD7 Newton. Now this is our level 10 scale that continues to stay up, so we want to use this card with the Link monster. Now that the new Link monster's out, this card is super overpowered. Now we're running 3 copies of Danger Bigfoot. Obviously all the dangers are so overpowered because they're just a +1 plus another monster on the board, so they're just so good. And also you got card removal with the dangers. Only problem is the dangers alone cost pretty much more than the entire deck itself, so you could take these out and make the deck a lot cheaper if you were trying to buy it, but they're just so good. I love playing with the danger cards. But either way, we're running 3 copies of Danger Bigfoot, 3 copies of Danger Thunderbird, and 2 copies of Danger Chewbacca. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that at all. And then 1 copy of Danger Nessie. Now we're running 3 copies of Dark Contract with the Gate. This is what I meant when I said Swamp, sorry. This is the card that's going to allow you to add any card from your deck to your hand. So you can search this with Kepler, and then you can get any card once per turn from your deck to your hand. But with all the Dark Contracts, they're going to take 1000 life point in your standby phase, which with one of your fusion monsters, you can actually turn into gaining 1000 life points every standby phase. And we got 2 copies of Dark Contract with the Swamp King. This is pretty much a polymerization, a continuous polymerization that you can use every single turn. Also, it uses cards from your graveyard as well, so you can use cards from your hand, field, and graveyard. Now, I don't see this card too much in all the other DD decks, but I run 1 copy of Card Destruction. That's because we're running the dangers. So if you can activate Card Destruction, you can use all the danger effects in one, get rid of some cards. But also because you utilize your graveyard so much, it's not that bad to have a bunch of cards in your graveyard that you can use to special summon, or you can use their effects from the graveyard. We now run 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, and this pretty much just means we're running a 39 card deck. For our one and only trap, running 1 Heavy Storm Duster, just to get rid of some spells and traps if you need to. This deck already has a lot of spell and trap removal, but just in case you need some more spell and trap removal that's instant, you can get Heavy Storm Duster. So for the main deck, that contains 32 monsters, 7 spells, and 1 trap card. Okay, so we do sell all of our deck lists on eBay, so if you guys are interested in buying the deck, we're selling it for $190. It is a little bit more than you could buy it yourself, but it supports the channel and it's easy. All you gotta do is buy it and we'll just send you the entire deck, so you don't have to look around for the individual cards. This does include the extra deck as well, which we're about to go through. The price might fluctuate up and down depending on how much the cards are going for. With the hype of the next Master Rules coming out, the deck is a little more expensive, especially all the DD cards seem to be a little bit more fluctuated right now, but they might drop in like 6 months or whatever when that hype dies down or they get banned a little bit. But either way, let's move into the extra deck. We're running 2 copies of DDD Dragonbane King Beowulf. Now this is pretty much a heavy storm every single standby phase. So every single standby phase, this card is on the field. You can destroy all spell and trap cards on the field, which is just insane. And it's got 3000 attack. Next, we're running 2 copies of the new Link monster, which is DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that, but his effect is also insane. When this card is special summoned, you can't special summon any other monsters except for DD monsters. Also place 2 DD pendulum monsters with different names from your deck into your pendulum zones, so you can set your scale for free, and if you do, take 1000 damage, which if you already have a DDD Oracle King D Arc, you're actually gaining 1000 life points. And then, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 DD monster from your extra deck or graveyard in defense position. So you can bring out one of your Super Doom King Purple Armageddons or your Duo Dawn King Kali Yugioh, one of your super overpowered monsters that's so hard to summon. You can just get them out for free and it might be a GG. Next, we're running 2 copies of DDD Flame High King Genghis. Now this is my go-to card. Pretty much when you normal summon or special summon a DD monster, you can special summon another DD monster from your graveyard, which is just so overpowered. You're just able to get so many good cards on the field at once. You could also negate a spell or trap card once per turn. You don't see you later in the combos how overpowered this card really is. Now we're running 2 copies of DDD Oracle King D Arc. Now this card is really good because any effect damage you would take, you gain those life points instead. So compare that with the dark contracts, you're gaining 1,000 life points per turn based on how many dark contracts you have. Also, if they're running like a Time Lords or like a Chain Burn deck or something that's just dealing a bunch of damage through effects, it's a GG because you're gonna end up with 100,000 life points. Or if they hit you with a magical cylinder when you're going in for a big attack, you just gain those life points instead. Now we're running 2 copies of DDD Flame King Genghis. Now this card is just a budget of high Flame King Genghis. Pretty much it just takes less to summon and you can't negate a card effect. Now for our Mystic Mind removal, this is the card that will remove Mystic Minds. Get this card out if someone has Mystic Mind, doesn't matter if they have a field barrier or anything. When it is summoned, negate all card effects on the field, and then you can detach 1 material to destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. So pretty much you negate the effects of Mystic Minds when it comes onto the field. You negate everything. That effect cannot be negated, and then you just go ahead and then just detach 1 material and all of that is destroyed. Now we're running 1 copy of DDD Super Doom King Bright Armageddon. Now this card is very difficult to summon, but when you're using the Link monster, if it's destroyed, then you can just special summon this card out onto the field, no problemo. Then we're running 1 copy of DDD Super Doom King Purple Armageddon. Now this card is overpowered because you can target one of your opponent's attack position monsters, destroy, and if you do, inflict half of that card's attack as damage pretty much, which is just super overpowered, and it has 3,500 attack as all the Doom Kings do. So that's really good. And again, you can summon this with one of your dark contracts, Dark Contract of the Swamp, or you can just, when the Link monster gets destroyed, special summon that card. Now this is one of our other negates, it's another synchro monster, 1 copy of DDD Curse King Siegfried. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that either, but it's just another negate. It's actually pretty difficult to summon, to be honest, but it's a good card and I wanted it in the deck. So now we're going on to the combo part of the video. So for the first combo, you're gonna need a Swirl Slime and 2 DDD cards. Now any of these cards can be replaced by either Kepler or Dark Contract with the gate. All you need to do is just be able to add one of those cards that you need back into your hands, and you can use them with Kepler and Dark Contract. So then you're just going to use Swirl Slime's effect and it'll be able to fusion summon using one of your DD cards for DDD Flame High King Genghis. Then you're able to banish Swirl Slime from your graveyard and special summon the other DD monster that you have in your hand, and then using DDD Flame King High Genghis' effect that when that card is summoned to the field, you're able to special summon the other DD monster back onto the field. So as you can see, you got an incredibly strong board with any 2 DD monsters. That could be the other DDD as well, but with this board right here, you have 3 level 8, so you can also go into your Otk'S monster, get rid of any spell and traps that you want. That's also another 3,500 beta that you can have on the board. Now if you get this hand, you're pretty much blessed. This is great for going second. It's pretty much a guaranteed OTK. You've got 1 Swirl Slime, 1 Ragnarok, any 2 DD monsters, and a Lamia. Now remember, you can place any of these cards with either a Kepler or a Dark Contract. You can get one of the cards that you need. Now you don't need to do the same that you did last time. Use Swell's effect to fusion summon your High King Genghis with any of the DD monsters that is not Ragnarok. Do not use Ragnarok. Then you can use Lamia's effect to send one of your other DD cards to the grave and special summon Lamia. Then you use Swirl Slime's effect to banish itself, and then you can special summon Ragnarok. Then you use both High King Genghis' effect as well as Ragnarok's effect to special summon the 2 DD monsters in your graveyard. Now I forgot to mention, these are combos using the current master rules, so this is before you can fusion summon unlimited times. We still need to require to use that one little spot in the extra deck. Also, I'm not using the Link monster because I only added that to the deck list of recording, not when I edited out all these combos. So now there's even far more crazy combos that you can use using Pendulum and the Link monster. Now there's a few other things you could do. Now you could actually use Lamia to go into your Link, which wouldn't be a bad idea, but before we had the Link, the best option was to destroy Lamia using Ragnarok's effect, and then you can get rid of one of your opponent's cards. Then you could also use 2 of your level 8s, because most of the DDDs are level 8s, to XE summon for DDD Duo Dawn King, Kali Yugioh, which this means that all the monster effects on the field are negated, so you don't have to worry about Borosword or any of those cards that don't have some crazy effects that's going to destroy your card. You don't have to worry about that. Kali Yugioh negates all of that, and then you're also going to be able to get rid of all spell and trap cards on the field, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. Now you've got Dawn King on the field, as well as 2 other DD cards, which don't have to be these 2, but if let's say you got Ragnarok and Armageddon, you got rid of your opponent's best card with Ragnarok, and you don't have any spell or trap cards to worry about, you can deal 8,700 damage, and it's a GG OTK. Now, if you haven't used Kepler, there's some other crazy combos that you could do on top of this. You could activate Dark Contract of the Swamp to fusion 2 of your DD cards. If we're running the old rules, you would have to fusion DDD Dawn King, Kali Yugioh, and then you'd have to fusion for High King Genghis. Then you'd be able to normal summon your other DD monster, use High King Genghis's effect to bring back your DDD Dawn King, and then you just have an even crazier board that you got so many high level attack monsters. So it'd just be a complete GG. And again, you've already destroyed all the other opponent's spell and trap cards. You've gone through and destroyed one of your other monster cards, one of their monster cards, so it's just overpowered.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my DD deck. As I said, it's one of my personal favorites. And if you did, please hit that like, subscribe button, and go down below, comment your favorite DD monster, as well as any improvements we could make to the video or the deck. Again, if you want to buy the deck, we would really appreciate it if you buy it from the link in below. It helps all of us on the channel. And I'm out. See ya.